Hello everyone, I'm briefly interrupting the Capablanca saga to bring you very important news from the chess world. Now, you all remember Gukesh D, we already saw a very nice game by him on this channel. Here he faces another international master from India, Dinesh Sharma. It's from the 17th Delhi International Chess Tournament, and as of today, Gukesh D is the youngest Grandmaster in the world. He missed his chance to become the youngest ever Grandmaster in the world by 12 days, so the record is still held by Sergei Karyakin. But even so, being the youngest Grandmaster in the world today, a huge accomplishment. So, like I said, this is from round 9. The tournament is still going on. I believe round 10 is being played today, and he already faced 4 Grandmasters in this tournament without a single loss. So, without further ado, let's check out the game. It's really a modern masterpiece, just a beautiful game to check out, so I do hope you enjoy it. We have e4 by Gukesh, we have e6, the French defense. Someone already joked in the comments that he should get extra norms for such an accomplishment against the French defense. d4, d5, knight d2, the Tarrasch variation of the French, bishop to e7, and now e5, advancing the pawn, and c5, the usual response when white advances the e-pawn in the French. c3, strengthening the center, we have knight c6 and bishop to d3. c captures, and queen to b6, pressuring the d4 pawn, but not really. Knight d to f3, and now comes knight to h6. If some of you are actually wondering, you cannot capture the d4 pawn, because after captures, bishop b5 check, and black loses the queen. So that's not happening. After knight d to f3, we have knight to h6, and now comes knight e2. Gukesh also is ready to castle. And here we have a couple of moves that are familiar in this position. f5 has been played here, knight to f5 has been played here. Here f6 is played, and this is a new move that was not played in this position, but since we have e captures on f6, it's pretty much the same as if black played f5 and white captures on f6 en passant. So we have bishop captures, and here there is one game in the database where white captured on h6 and black won that game, but here Gukesh decides to keep the bishop pair. He simply castles, and he says, okay, if black castles, I might then capture on h6, mess up black's kingside, and start a kingside attack. So knight to f7, black doesn't allow this, and now you could go, as the d4 pawn now really is attacked, you could try something like bishop to e3, where black couldn't really capture on b2, perhaps it would be too dangerous, but Gukesh immediately starts with an attack. He goes knight f4 and sacrifices the d4 pawn. Knight captures on d4, and now comes knight to h5. And okay, attacking the bishop here, knight captures on f3 with check, queen captures on f3, and now comes bishop to e5. You don't want to allow knight captures here, but it's hard to decide what to do. If you go something like bishop to d4, which seems like a better choice, maybe bishop to e3 will not come with an attack on the queen. Not really. After bishop to e3, you still can't castle, and if you capture, then you open up white's f-file. It will be very dangerous. If you castle, then you have this very nice queen g4 idea, threatening checkmate. Not checkmate as of now, because the bishop is still controlling it, but there is a double attack against the bishop on d4. If you capture, then it's checkmate. If you don't capture, yeah, I mean, you can't move it back. If you move it somewhere along these lines, then the queen is under attack. Here, you don't really have a good move. You would have to go something like knight h6, attack the queen, and then just give up the piece, and slowly but surely you will lose this game. So okay, Dinesh goes for a different idea. He goes bishop to e5, and now we have bishop to e3. Attacking the queen back to d8. You don't want to capture a pawn here. That's, I mean, you are under attack. You want the queen to be able to help out with the defense. And now bishop to c5, closing off this diagonal, so the king is now definitely unable to castle. Bishop to d7. We have rook f to e1, and now comes queen to c7. With queen to g5 here, black would still hold his own and would still be in this game. But after queen to c7, it's a bit of a different story. First, rook to c1. Now you're threatening all sorts of discoveries, as the rook is aligned with the queen on the c-file. And you don't really gain anything by bishop h2 check. If this king h1, you now have to move the bishop because g3 is a threat. After bishop e5, now again queen g4, a very dangerous idea, pressuring e6, pressuring g7. And here, let's say you go for a queenside castle, you will get bishop to d4. Now your queen is under attack. This is a huge threat. You cannot escape with the king. After bishop c6, queen captures on e6, check is coming. And after king b8, now comes rook captures on e5, and black is falling apart. You cannot recapture because you lose the queen again. So a very dangerous position. Instead of capturing on h2, Dinesh decides to go rook to c8. Develop the piece and also put pressure along the c file. But again, queen g4, again pressuring the g7 pawn. So what do you do here? We have g6 defending, and now it's a very sharp position. But before I ask you to pause the video, which I will, first we do have a couple of nice photos by David Llada. There you have it. It could be somewhere around this position. I do see the queen on g4. It's a bit right, so the knight is not yet on h5, but still, it's around this position, definitely around the critical moment of the game. And also we have a very nice close-up of young Gukesh. So there you have it. I will also put, as usual, some very nice links to David Llada Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook page. So if you enjoy chess photos, you know, he has a lot of excellent photos. Do follow him and do check out some of his other work. But yeah, after g6, feel free to pause the video and try to find the idea Gukesh used here to, well, amongst other things, become the youngest grandmaster in the world. I will give you a couple of seconds as usual. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations. You are now the youngest grandmaster in the world. Just kidding, you're not, but still, it's a very nice move. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, knight g7 check. And here's the problem. You can't go anywhere along this diagonal, so you can either capture the knight with the bishop or run away, king d8. If you go king d8, knight captures on e6 check, forks the king and the queen. You have to capture it. Bishop captures, now comes queen captures. And what do you play here? Again, bishop to e7, a lot of threats here. The queen is still aligned with the rook. So after queen c6, let's say you want to defend the d5 pawn and also offer to trade queens, it doesn't work. You get queen e7, checkmate. And on the other hand, if you want to try something else, let's say you want to go rook e8, then you have to give up the d5 pawn. Queen captures, again you have to block, queen d7, and now you get queen captures, king captures, and now bishop to b5 check. This is deadly. King has to move, now comes bishop captures, rook captures, and after f4, winning yet another bishop. Whatever black plays, you will capture, and then you are up a whole rook, and black is doomed. So after knight g7 check, Dinesh decided to capture the knight. We have bishop captures, and now comes the move you really had to find if you found knight g7 check. So if you haven't, pause the video again and try to find the continuation to this attack. For those of you who were able to do it, now really congratulations, you are truly an excellent player. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, rook captures on e6. The problem is you still can't move anywhere other than d8, and this doesn't work for similar reasons. So if you capture it, you have to face queen captures, and then after king to d8, it's simply lost. Bishop e7 check. The rook now attacks the queen. After queen captures on e7, you will get rook captures here with checkmate. Or if you don't want to capture the bishop, if you simply move the king, then you get bishop to b5 check again. Queen has to block, and then we have this very nice double bishop checkmate. After rook captures on e6, you have to move the king even though you don't want to. King d8 was played, but now comes bishop to e7 check. King to e8, and now we have bishop to d6 check, checking the king, but also attacking the queen here. And again, you can't capture due to the same reasons. King to d8 is played, and now bishop captures on c7, grabs the queen. Rook captures on c7, we have rook captures on c7, king captures on c7, and okay, your rook is still pinned here, but simply queen to f4 check, and it was in this position that international master Dinesh Sharma resigned the game, and a very nice victory for young Gukesh D. Once the king moves, let's say king c8, then you can unpin, you can go rook e7, and white is just up too much material. There is no point in continuing this game. Really a wonderful game and a wonderful accomplishment for young Gukesh D, who is now, after winning his third Grandmaster norm, we already said only 12 days behind of Sergei Karyakin's record. But still, you know, Grandmasters are becoming younger and younger. There are a lot more new players, a lot more rating in the system, you know. I'm sure it will be the records will be broken more and more, and the age bar for becoming a grandmaster will go lower and lower and lower. But that's an idea, a topic for a different video, and even a huge discussion. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Tyler Szczeblewski, Fred Ackerman, Luka Tabak, Prakar Maini, and Piotr Pshichina for their contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. We're going to check up on Tata Steel and also continuing the Capablanca saga, the 1911 San Sebastian tournament. Thank you all, and I will see you soon.